that this event is endorsed by the DepEd, or is it just a newspaper? Those are two different things. So perhaps institutions may start teaching um, our educators to how to really assess documents that they receive, rather than just you know um, having different interpretations on it. Maybe training. Uh, I guess that could be the most practical way.
Okay, thank you, sir. Um, Thank you also for addressing that question, Mr. Cindy Burt. We have a second question, and I do believe this is also it will also refer to the DepEd advisory. So what it's stated here, sir, from Sir Richard. What do you think is the biggest problem facing our teacher today, and why?
Okay, in relation to debt advisories, I suppose a lot of teachers fall victim to predatory practices. Like predatory publishing is very prevalent right now. I don't know if you're into this or if you search for this kind of opportunities. There is actually an abundance of award giving bodies right now. And it's not just any award giving bodies, but these are paid award giving bodies, wherein if you would like to be awarded, you have to pay for it and then they will just give it to you. It's actually very abundant in social media. And I have encountered more or less 20, I think, just this year. And when I message them, I ask them, who will be the institution to give the award? They can't answer it because it's just, are you familiar with vanity awards? Um, yeah, that is the term, vanity awards. So I think, this is one of the problems that we face. We, most teachers do not have the knowledge to tell what is legit and what is not, um, eventually resulting in them falling victims. And then they will just realize after it has happened already. So, yeah, um, that for me is the most problematic right now since we are in the social media environment. Yeah, if you're going to ask me how can we solve it, social media usage responsibilities, number one, we have to teach, we must make our educators realize that not all that we can see in social media is true, that but of course not all as well is predatory. So it's just a matter of knowing how to distinguish those real, those legitimate, and those not, because it could really mislead them and eventually wasting time, wasting their efforts, wasting their money into something that is really a hoax. So I hope that I was able to answer the question.
Thank you, Sir Mark. Thank you also for raising that question, Sir Richard. We're still inviting the other participants who wish to ask for clarifications regarding the presentation of our speaker. While waiting, sir, I would like to commend the recommendation that you gave. No, it is really important to, at some point, re-educate the teachers or the administrators on how should the advisories should be used. No, how can we, just like what you said a while ago, how can we identify if this is not this will not be a cause for us to become victims of predatory practices. So I believe that if your study will be shared to DepEd, they can actually receive that very immediate recommendation that you gave a while ago. So thank you for that. Are there any questions or clarifications coming from our participants? Okay, I cannot see
While
any.
waiting
Yeah.
for Ma'am, while waiting for questions,
Yes,
I
po.
would like to apologize to Sir Cindy. I thought you were a female because of the first name. Sorry for that, sir. Um, my bad po. And also, I would like to, Ma'am, say to Ma'am Fevic, yes, it's really my intention to give a copy to DepEd, um, because They do not, like for example, if I have an organization and then I would like to organize like a seminar, and I would like to request for a debit advisory to be issued to that seminar. They really don't evaluate the reputation, the legitimacy of the organization, and also the seminar. They just give it away. As far as the requirements are concerned, they really don't have this rigorous process to check whether these organizations are legit or, somehow questionable. So it gets worse when teachers use that debit advisory as basis for everything. Like, you know, like for example, a car. Di ba? How can you say that a car is registered if it has a plate number? So tayo, ang nangyayari in the Philippines, basta may debit advisory, legit na siya. Kahit hindi. Kasi nga, may mga nakakalusot eh. Based on my experience, I have learned that there is a predatory journal here in the Philippines. And how did I find out? I asked them questions. They were claiming to be indexed in Scopus. They were claiming to be a Google Scholar, but they are not when I checked it. And they have a DepEd advisory. Yes, DepEd issued them. So what if I was a neophyte researcher? I got victimized, right? This is how problematic is this.
Wow, that experience, if shared, sir, no, will really awaken those who can hear, no, your presentation and your experience as well. And sir, allow me to read the insight coming from Mr. Richard Zabala. Insight, and maybe there is a lack of opportunity for them to be awarded, or this kind of document is being accepted during promotion. What do you think, Pudal, sir?
Well, in a way, I would agree with Sir Richard. Um, Pero in a way, I think that this is really the responsibility of the teachers. After all, we will be the beneficiaries. Eh. If we get awarded, it's for me the very limited opportunity to excel must be taken as a motivation to really do everything that we can do. I think it's not right for us to think that, oh, only few are awarded. So it should be your motivation to excel more so that the next time you'll be the one to be awarded. But in a way, I would agree because, sometimes it get political. Or those who are, someone will get be awarded. And this results in many educators resorting to, I'll just pay so that I could get the award, and it will be credited to my what do you call that in teacher education, CPD. So something like that. So in a way, I would agree with that, Sir Richard. Thank you for that.
Okay, thank you, Sir Mark. Thank you also to Sir Richard for sharing your insight. Sir, I would like to ask again regarding the presentation that you had. I would like to humbly ask if the participants came from your area, near your area, or randomly from different places in the Philippines?
What I did, ma'am, is I utilize social media in data gathering,
Mm.
and I have joined teacher groups from different parts of the Philippines, like DepEd group, professional teachers group. You can see a lot in social media, right? With 100,000 members, etc. And then that is where I contacted as many teachers as I can. So it's not just in Region 4A, it's not just in Luzon, this is the entire Philippines. But of course, if you're wondering why I was not contacted, I limited the respondents only to 200, which I said earlier could be a limitation of the study. So yeah,
Okay. So thank you, sir. No, we are hoping that maybe if you can if you can have another study in regards with the misconception towards debit advisory, you can have a wider or bigger scope so
yeah,
that
yeah.
this can totally be addressed to the to dep ed themselves, no? So Thank you so much, Sir Mark. And thank you also to our participants who raised their questions and clarifications and their insights. So, time check, it's already 3:05. So, we have to proceed. Now we will be giving the certificate of recognition for our speaker for this afternoon. So allow me po to read the citation. Certificate of recognition is presented to Mark Gabriel Wagan Aguilar as presenter of the study Misconception Towards the the Department of Education Advisory during the 5th Teacher Education Research Conference with the theme Together We Rise, Revitalize, Innovate, Strategize, and Equip, viewing the rising tide through post pandemic narratives, new paradigms, and sustainable and equitable innovations in education via MS Teams on April 28 to 29, 2023. Given this 29th day of April in the year of our Lord 2023 as the Xavier University Ateneo de Cagayan, Cagayan de Oro City, Philippines. Signed by Dr. Charity Rose Pagara, our project head for TERC 5, and Dr. Adeline Manla, our Dean of School of Education of Xavier University, and by Dr. Juliet Dalagan, our Vice President for Higher Education of Xavier University. Once again, dear participants, let's give a virtual applause to our speaker. Thank you so much, Sir Mark.